All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about a massive shift that's happening right now in AI. And look, this isn't about some fancy new model or a cool new tool. It's about a fundamental change in how we need to lead, especially as we look ahead to 2026.
It really all kicked off last year, in 2025. There wasn't some big bang or major headline. It was quiet. So quiet, in fact, that most companies didn't even realize AI had crossed this invisible but incredibly important line.
So, what was that line? Well, AI stopped being this fun little side project in the innovation lab. It became totally woven into the fabric of day to day business. We're talking pricing, staffing, major customer decisions. AI is now a core part of how work actually gets done. It's a dependency, plain and simple, whether we've admitted it or not. So, this quiet revolution in 2025, what did it really teach us? Well, the biggest lesson, the real wake up call, had almost nothing to do with the technology itself. It was all about people, our processes, and, you guessed it, leadership. And this right here, this is the heart of the issue. The AI models themselves, they were getting better and better at lightning speed. But the organizations trying to use them kept hitting the same walls. The real roadblocks weren't technical. They were things like, who actually has the right to make a call? Is our data even ready for this? Are our teams all pulling in the same direction? And the big one, who is actually accountable? Because of all those roadblocks, a brand new problem started creeping in: shadow AI. This is what happens when your teams, who are just trying to get their jobs done, start using AI tools on their own, without any real oversight or shared rules. It's like AI is sneaking in through the side door, and it's bringing all sorts of hidden risks with it, risks that leadership can't even see. Okay, so that brings us to 2026, where the stakes get incredibly high. A lot of leaders think that being cautious with AI is the smart, safe move. But the truth is, in the world we live in now, sitting on the sidelines, inaction, is the single biggest risk you can take. You've probably heard this phrase in a meeting before, right? AI is owned by everyone. It sounds great. It sounds collaborative and modern. On the surface, it feels like exactly the right way to think about a technology that touches pretty much every part of the business.
But let's be real. In practice, when everyone owns something, it means no one is really accountable. Not for its success, not for its failures, and definitely not for its strategic direction. It just creates this giant gaping hole where responsibility should be.
This table shows the problem perfectly. You've got the CIO handling the servers, the CTOs on architecture, the chief data officer owns the data, and legal is managing risk. Everybody's doing their job, but then look at that huge empty column. Who is actually responsible for turning all those pieces into real business value? Nobody. It just falls right through the cracks. And here's the critical thing to understand. The disadvantage you'll feel from this inaction, it's not going to be some loud, sudden crisis. It's going to be a quiet, creeping structural gap that opens up between you and your competitors, the ones who are already building AI into their DNA, making faster, smarter decisions every single day. So, if that scattered approach is the problem, what on earth is the solution? Well, this is where we're seeing a new, really strategic role emerge: the Chief AI Officer, or CAIO. And it is so important to get this right. This is a business leadership role, not just a tech role. Now, there are a lot of myths out there about what a CIO is. People think it's just a data scientist with a fancier title, or maybe someone who just manages software contracts. No way. The reality is this person owns the connection between AI and business strategy. They are accountable for actual business outcomes, and their job is to create guardrails that help the company move faster, not slower. The CIO's job really boils down to three main things. First, they define an AI strategy that actually serves the company's biggest goals, not just a bunch of cool but disconnected projects. Second, they are the one person who is accountable for measurable business impact. And third, they build a governance system that empowers people to innovate safely and fast. But, and this is a big but, you can't just hire a CIO, dust off your hands, and expect magic to happen. For this to actually work, the entire organization has to support the role. A CIO just can't succeed in a vacuum. Now, a really common pushback you hear is this. Wait a minute, isn't a big governance program just going to bury us in red tape and slow everything down? And you know what? That's a fair question, because most corporate governance does exactly that. But there's a much smarter way to do it. See, good AI governance isn't about blocking progress. It's about enabling speed safely. Instead of these heavy committees and blanket no's, an agile approach uses lightweight guardrails. It establishes super clear decision rights, and it ties everything back to business outcomes. The whole goal is to make doing the right thing the easy thing. And finally, there's one more piece. The rest of the leadership team has a huge part to play. Executives don't need to learn how to code, but they absolutely 100% need to develop AI literacy. It's not about being a technical expert. It's about having the business judgment to ask the right questions and understand the strategic game that's being played. So as we wrap this up, you can see the entire conversation around AI is changing. For years, all we talked about was capability. What can AI do? Now, the most important question has shifted to accountability. Who is responsible for what it does? And that means we also need to change how we measure success. Forget just looking at simple cost savings. The real leading indicators are about how AI is fundamentally improving the way your organization thinks and acts. Are we making decisions faster? Are our forecasts more accurate? Do we have more confidence in our plans? That's the real prize. And that leaves us with this one final critical thought. The challenge of AI heading into 2026 and beyond isn't about the technology. It's about leadership. It's no longer a question of what can AI do. The question you have to ask is, who in my organization is accountable for the results? Answering that is the first real step to winning the future.